All right. Hello, everyone. Jared and Dave here. We're on with
This is
me.
Raul
Yeah.
with Mi Primero Bitcoin.
Yeah. Uh, if you want to look it up, it's www.miprimerbitcoin.io. And this it means my first Bitcoin. And correct me if I'm wrong. You guys go into the schools and teach children how to use cryptocurrency, correct?
Yes, that's one of the things that we are doing right now. And for everyone who's listening, you can also try going to myfirstbitcoin.io and it will redirect you to our website. So you
So
can use both domains.
so if you spell it in English, it does the same thing. All right, good. Good, good.
Correct.
All right, so tell us how you got started doing this.
All right. So my first Bitcoin. Everything starts in September of last year when the law was finally passed. Obviously, there was a lot of hype before the law got actually passed. We all remember that the Bitcoin conference in Miami last year when Nayib Bukele announced that he was going to pass the law, pass the law to be approved in the assembly. And yeah, that's when the hype started. And it was just after the law has just been passed. A lot of Bitcoiners came to the country to celebrate. And myself with a few other friends, we went to one of these parties, and surprisingly, we were the only Salvadorans on the party, on the reunion. Everyone was, from abroad, and it's um, the networking in the Bitcoin space is quite strong. So everybody was like, "Hey, are you from El Salvador?" And we were like, "Yeah, yeah. Wow, this is amazing. What do you think about the law? And what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? Do you think Salvadorans are interested in Bitcoin?" So basically, in all that hassle after the law, it's when I met John. John Danny, he's our founder. He's from New York, and he already had a clear idea that he wanted to help in education. Basically, he was very clear that without education there is no adoption. So and that's how we started. We started basically with a very, very small group of Salvadorans and a few people from abroad as well that were also helping us. During those days in September, I knew the basics of Bitcoin. I was I was not an expert, or I wouldn't be considering myself an expert now, but I've learned a lot through since then. But that's when we started, and we were just a small group of Salvadorians with John, helping, giving classes in our spare time to people here in the city, friends and family. And since then, we've been growing quite fast. In September, we only had 5 students. Then next month, we went up to like 70. And from that moment on, it grew exponentially. In February of this year, 2022, we had 800 students. Now, these classes that I'm talking about, because we knew, because the law was passed, and Chivo also came into the game, right? So we knew that we needed to educate in a very functional way. So the classes that we were giving are basic classes. Is like 0 to 1 on Bitcoin stuff, right? And we cover very basic fundamentals of Bitcoin, and then we cover what are types of wallets, the difference between custodial, non-custodial wallet, and just give the people, help them understand and give them the correct knowledge for them to have for them to decide what's the best option for them. So
What's
that
your
was basically how the project started. Yeah, go ahead.
what's your target group? Like what age do you start teaching these classes and educating?
To be honest, we don't have a specific target per se. We believe that Bitcoin is for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of your age and what is your financial situation. And we've had students from all ages, from youngsters, from some teenagers, maybe people in their 20s, and we've had a lot of students that are past their 50s or 60s. So it's a little bit of all the ages, So it's not that we focus on a specific targeted age. We focus on everyone who wants to learn about Bitcoin.
So now, when people sign up to the class, is it a physical place they go to, or is it an online course?
Yes. So originally we started that we prefer doing, in-person classes. At the moment, we give out classes. We use the help of La Casa del Bitcoin, which means the House of Bitcoin. It's an education center, or like a hub for people to learn about Bitcoin. But this is from Paxful. Paxful is a wallet company that has set their bases here in El Salvador, and they've been sponsors to us. They've helped us a lot, and they give us the chance to go and teach classes on their premises. So we do give in-person classes, and we also do online classes, which you can sign up. So we have we keep a record of all of our students. So you sign up and you can receive the class online as well.
Do you have a physical building to actually call your own for this purpose?
Not yet, but we were planning on soon, most likely getting something like a place for us to work and to be, have the liberty to give as many classes as we want, and feel free to have our own space for meetings, podcasts, and people from abroad that want to come to get to know us, and just have our own place,
Absolutely.
But no, not yet. But we hopefully soon we can get one. Yeah.
And do the students have to pay a tuition to do the class at all?
No. So what I've been talking about so far is what we do as My First Bitcoin, right? We give out these classes which are completely for free. And not only that, we also believe that people learn by doing. So part of the idea is that at the end of the class, once we've covered the basics about wallets, how to set up your wallet, how to secure your wallet, we give our students bonuses. Either it depends on our sources, and depends on the type of class that you're getting. If it's an in-person or online, you can get a $5 to up to a $10 bonus. So people not only learn the basics, they learn how to set up their wallets, they learn how to send and receive, and they go with a little bonus or a little amount in Bitcoin, which they can now use on any store that accepts Bitcoin. The diplomado, or the diploma that we're giving on a school, that's like a side project. Well, not a side project, because it's very important for us. But the diplomado, or the diploma that we're giving in a public school in San Marcos, it's a joint effort between us, Ibex Mercado, which is a company from Guatemala. They offer POS for businesses, so they can accept Bitcoin. It's really cool dudes. They have helped us a lot as well. And also from the school itself in San Marcos, there was also an approach, and there's been a lot of willingness to help us with as much as we need to make this happen for the kids, right? So the diplomado started as a joint effort between the three of us, and it's been a challenge, actually. But yes, I just wanted to explain that there's a little difference, that we do give classes. These are the classes that we give is a one-time class. We are developing some other courses and more advanced classes for any Salvadoran that wants to learn. But besides that, we also have this diplomado, which is a 10-class diplomado. So it's 10 weeks the duration, and it's more focused for high school students, right? So just wanted to make that difference. Yeah.
Is there any chance of you guys getting into the public education system, offering this class?
Yes, so that's the idea, and that's what we really want to strive to. And it's been a self-learning process, this whole thing, right? We the diplomado that we're giving right now in San Marcos, we are past the third week, so we are on class 3 of 10. In each class, we are learning, and we're all constantly, making little quick fixes on the current diplomado, so eventually we improve it. But at the same time, we are now talking with the Ministry of Education. We are in the process of getting our own diploma approved, to have the official backup from the Ministry of Education, and now start talking more of scalability, right? Because having this diploma in all of the schools for next year or in the following years, it means that we got to train a lot of teachers, right? So that's the challenge now, the logistics, and a teacher that teaches about Bitcoin must know a lot about Bitcoin at first. So that's the new challenge that we have. But so far, we've had the support from the parties involved, and we're trying to move as fast as we can, but at the same time make sure that the quality of our program and of the information that we provide to the students is always the best.
That's
So
outstanding.
that's the challenge.
And it's outstanding you're ahead of the bell curve, because your government has opened up cryptocurrency, so I have a feeling they're going to need this education, and government will notoriously jump in and offer something like that when it's too late. And you guys are ahead of it. To give it now is getting in front of the 8 ball.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: in El Salvador, do people actually use the Bitcoin in stores now that the law is passed?
Well, yes and no. It depends a little bit. Well, on the business side, I can tell you that most big company like chain companies, like fast food restaurants like Wendy's, Starbucks, McDonald's, they accept Bitcoin. Big shops like supermarkets, most of them accept Bitcoin now. You have coffee shops, especially on areas that have a lot of tourism, like obviously maybe you guys have heard of Bitcoin Beach, and maybe El Tunco. It's we have our coastline is very famous for surfing, and with Bitcoin Beach, obviously most businesses that move around that area or that are located around that area are accepting Bitcoin. And slowly, progressively, more and more businesses are starting to accept Bitcoin. Regarding people using Bitcoin, there's still a little bit of some people don't use it. And the thing is, one of the things that we find a lot is that there's a big perception that Bitcoin is something for investment. People, that's one of the first things that they usually ask, like, hey, should I invest? Am I gonna, how do I know I'm not gonna lose money? Like, do you guys give classes of trading? And we don't do anything like that. We focus on, and we always try to explain to them that yes, maybe it's something that you could use in the long term. Like if you have savings and that you don't plan on touch, maybe you can save for the future. But the most important thing is to learn how to use it on our day-to-day transactions, on our day-to-day living. So usage of Bitcoin it's slowly growing, and I wished it was a little bit faster. Well, obviously and I can tell you this with the price of Bitcoin obviously takes a little bit of effect on the interest of the people about Bitcoin, right? Currently, there is Bitcoin is going down a little bit. So right now, it's understandable that there's not a lot of interest right now to learn about it, for example.
Well,
but we know that if Bitcoin went up, there will be a little bit more interest.
I think as long as, the U.S. is obviously has the dominant currency right now, and I think as long as the U.S. dollar is failing, Bitcoin's going to be looked at like an investment animal, especially with the U.S. And that shocks me that Starbucks and McDonald's are using it down there. And is it simply our Federal Reserve System that's stopping them from implementing something like that up here, because I don't know. I don't, and yeah, you just mentioned Bitcoin is falling, and we have a question from a listener that asks, what are your thoughts or feelings on the Bitcoin falling right now?
Yes. So, I I'm not an expert on knowing all of the factors that are involved that affect the price of Bitcoin, and we all know that there's a lot of speculation about it. I guess what I would say is something that I also keep reminding me myself, and it's also something that I tell people, that it's quite easy to start looking at Bitcoin in dollar terms, which means that we're going to try to see it in very short term, right? So I always try to always think of the big picture, always try to see how Bitcoin has behaved in terms of years. Right now, there's a lot of things going on in the world, and they all definitely have to have something to do with the price of Bitcoin, right? All of the economic issues that we've been having since the pandemic, the unrest in Europe, and all of the things take effect in Bitcoin. Even every time Elon Musk tweets something, people usually find a way to speculate that has to do something with crypto or Bitcoin. So there are always events and things that are affecting Bitcoin, but I always try to see it from afar and from a long-term perspective. And if you're looking at a long-term perspective, the graph always goes to the right and goes up. So that's what I have to say about the price.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Bitcoin's Bitcoin's value is measured against, here in the States, against the dollar, which the dollar may have a hiccup where it climbs for a second, which may make Bitcoin look like it's taken a dip or amplified any dip it takes. It's hard to measure unless you have a commodity you weigh Bitcoin against, such as if we were to weigh Bitcoin against gold or against oil, then you have something more stable.
Exactly. And even though Bitcoin's market, it's quite big, it's still relatively small compared to other, you know, markets, and it's still a young market in a sense, and I think it will remain. If we see it in a very short term, if we see it on a weekly basis, it's going to be volatile, and it's going to be like that maybe for a few more years, But as time passes, I think it will eventually, it will be a little bit more stable, a little bit more and a little bit more as time passes by.
Who knows?
And I hope that in the next few years, yeah, go ahead.
Maybe we'll start seeing some international currency weighed against Bitcoin after Bitcoin gets to that stable, all of its produced point, and then they can build their fiat currency and judge it against Bitcoin, something that we know exactly how much is in existence and roughly where it's at.
Can you use Litecoin? Yeah. Can you use Litecoin or Dogecoin or any of those over there?
No. It's all focused on Bitcoin only. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the law, is specific only on Bitcoin. And to be honest, I haven't heard of any businesses or anyone, any formal business that is willing to accept any other cryptocurrency.
Have you guys written a textbook, or is that something that's in the works?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the diploma that we're giving in San Marcos, yes, we designed a workbook for the students, and which was a big challenge. But to be honest, guys, seeing the book printed and just looking at it and knowing that I helped create this and I'm now giving it away to students, and I see them, filling out the answers on the book is just amazing. It's like a dream come true. It's like seeing your vision, become a reality. And that was the challenge.
How hard would it be for us to get a copy of this book and then translate it?
Well, we're still, obviously we are focused on getting it developed in Spanish because naturally
Mm-hmm.
here students talk in Spanish. But just to give you a fun fact, when we originally designed the workbook, um, I created the list of topics, and just to give you a little glimpse of the workbook, it's a 10 class course. The first 2 classes are focused on financial education because before we talk about Bitcoin, you got to understand the why, right? Bitcoin is an alternative. You got to learn first the why, right? The why is an alternative to the current system. So the 2 first classes is an introduction to the monetary system, the history of money, what is money, and then the effects of money, of our current systems, inflation, how centralized systems can see your information. There is no privacy. Make sure that kids have these concepts and understand the why of Bitcoin. Then the middle part is just focus on Bitcoin 101. We go in depth into the concepts of Bitcoin, what is blockchain, miners, what are the importance of their role, wallets, nodes, Lightning, and Lightning Network, and how it's helping adoption. And eventually, the class number 9 is we talk about Bitcoin and the future of El Salvador. And then the last class is they present their final projects. So originally, when we designed like the list of topics and the order, all of the workbook was originally designed in English because the people that the experts in Bitcoin that helped us, and there were also some people that were experts in pedagogy, were all from either from the States, or most of them were speaking English. So the draft, the original diploma draft was in Spanish, in English, I'm sorry, and then we made the translation to Spanish. Just a little fun fact I wanted to give you. But yeah, I could, after this, maybe I can send you at least a PDF version of it in Spanish if you want to check it out.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
That would be really good. And we promise we won't copy word for word off it and start our own classes, but it would be nice to see how El Salvador's, first of all, getting ahead of the curve, and also how you guys are setting it up, because I'm hoping that we have the establishment of Bitcoin across all the nations very soon.
I mean, if McDonald's can use it in El Salvador.
Yeah, they already know how. If McDonald's and Starbucks can use it, they already have the processes to use it. And maybe they're just gearing up here. I'm wondering what is stopping businesses in the US from adopting a stance on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I guess one of the things that, because for Salvadoran businesses, it's as practical and as simple as just setting up a wallet. Just configure a wallet that's going to be used, to accept payments on Bitcoin, and then you decide if you want to keep it in Bitcoin or if you want to switch it to dollars. If you want to switch it to dollars, you can use Chivo, for example. Chivo, even though it's the government's wallet, but it gives you the opportunity to switch your Bitcoins to dollars instantaneously. Not only that, there are companies coming here like Ibex Mercado that if you don't want to do it with Chivo, then do it with Ibex Mercado. They can also help you, transfer your Bitcoins, or they buy your Bitcoins and then they deposit you in dollars. So there's alternatives and options. But it's also important to consider that at least here in El Salvador, one of the key factors that many people forget about the law is that not only it's legal tender, but also gains made on Bitcoin are tax-free. And I think that's something very important that a lot of businesses and people in general are just not giving it the importance that it should. And I think that's very important, because as far as I understand, in the US, you have to have a list or a record of all your transactions, right? Because you got to pay taxes for every Bitcoin transaction, as I understand.
Well, I lost all my Bitcoin in a boating accident.
Yeah, it's next to my rifles. Anyways, no, Bitcoin in the U.S. you got to pay capital gains tax on it.
Hmm.
So,
And they are quite severe. It's like 30%, right? Something like that. It's a lot.
oh, believe me, the U.S. never misses the opportunity to rape you with taxes, ever, ever.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. There is Uncle Sam waiting there with his greasy
Yeah.
palm out.
Hmm.
Okay,
So
so
to be honest, it's no, it's amazing to see people because we do as my first Bitcoin, we do meetups every last Wednesday of every month. It's we do meetups in bars or in little restaurants, but the idea is to make a gathering and we a lot of we the idea is to attract Salvadorans, but we have a there are always a lot of people from abroad, Americans or people from Europe that are living here in El Salvador, and they support us a lot, and they they always come to our meetups, and they also invite friends. And it's amazing to hear them say like, "Hey, man, I've been in Bitcoin for a lot of years now, and I'm considering getting my I'm finding the fastest way to get my residency and just live here because taxes in other places like in Europe or the US are just they're bleeding you. So
Hmm.
it's amazing to see them, tell you in your face, like,
what?
yeah, we're gonna leave and we're gonna stay here in El Salvador. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, they are bleeding us. Now, we do have a comment I want to ask you about, and then I'm sure Dave will have some comments about it, and then I've got some stuff to say. All right. Friends of Adam says Financial Times says Bitcoin is worse than a Ponzi scheme. 70% of Madoff's investments were recovered and returned. In contrast, Bitcoin promises nothing as a running yield, and the only way to cash out is to sell to another buyer. In a Bitcoin crash, there would be no legal ability to recover losses from those who sold before the crash, encouraging citizens of a third world country to gamble their financial future on crypto makes me feel uneasy. Let's toss this to Dave first.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about a Ponzi scheme, I mean,
Social Security is, by definition, a Ponzi scheme. We're gonna give you money now that we're gonna leverage from the people who sign up after you, which then will give them money from the people who sign up after them. Yeah, but anyways, go on.
well, I mean, they're a third world country. They're on the bottom tier of the economy. They want to try to take a big risk, and I don't think it's a really big risk
Here-
from my personal perspective.
Well,
But
here's another thing. Let's say Bitcoin collapses around them and El Salvador still says, well, we're still going to use Bitcoin as our currency. We're going to weigh our national products against it. And for internal buying and selling and transfer, it could end up being a very cost effective way to do that because one, they don't have to manage their own printing of their own specie. They don't have to manage their auditing of the books because Bitcoin is established to already do that for them. So the national auditing, I mean, still companies still need to know what they've got going on, but Bitcoin already covers that for them. So even if Bitcoin was to crash and El Salvador says we're going to keep it, I still see a huge possibility that they would still be able to run a level economy off of something that the rest of the world doesn't even have to take. Just like, Russia's using the ruble or China uses the which one is it? Yuan? Or is it? Yeah, the yuan. Korea uses the won. It's still something they can use.
and keep in mind, we're defining Bitcoin crashing as, oh no, Bitcoin is $30,000.
Yeah, Bitcoin crashed. What is it? $4,000 in the last month off
But
of $34,000. That's still, and remember, 10 years ago, Bitcoin was at what? $200.
I remember jumping for joy when it hit 800. I'm like, honey, I'm taking you out to dinner.
Yeah. That's a big win moment. And now, anyone who sold their Bitcoin 5-8 years ago is they're probably laying in a bathtub with a plugged in toaster hovering above them, like holding it above them.
But you know what?
But
I'm
let's-
thinking. I'm
Let's
thinking
hear what
they made a
Raul
good
has to
decision.
say about it.
No, I mean, I agree. It's Bitcoin is crashing, but in terms of what, right? So, like you said, it's a matter of perspective. If you see how Bitcoin has behaved through the past years, there's been dips, there's been bear markets. People usually they like to compare Bitcoin, and that's the thing that they're doing right now. They're comparing Bitcoin to its highest price, which
Mhm.
was like 68,000.
How's the
A month
dollar
and a
doing
half.
right now? How's
Oh, and the
how's
dollar is
how's the
like 7 or 8% up.
yeah, how's the yuan doing right now? I mean, right now, go buy a gallon of gas. We're hitting the dollar's not doing so well in measurement against it. So, you know what? I'm willing to try. I mean, heck, let's go full Fallout. Let's start selling, buying and trading with bottle caps. I don't care, but we're in a crashing situation across all boards. Nowhere is currency gaining fidelity on earth right now.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't see the dollar, gaining value anytime soon. And history tells us that, it will continue to inflate slowly, but it will continue to do so. And as time passes by, it will start losing more and more value. So yeah.
I think so. I think so. I don't know. If you could send us that PDF, that'd be, I just want to see one. It's an opportunity that, well, let's face it. Dave knows a lot more about Bitcoin than I do. I could read, I don't know. I could read someone scribble and I'd learn something about Bitcoin if it has to do anything with Bitcoin. So I can stand to learn a lot. And then it'd be nice. I mean, even for Dave, he might learn something that he doesn't know, and that's just further education. And then I do hope that what you're doing propagates up here into the U.S. You know, this is real real time financial education that I think the world needs to get on top of right now.
Of course, man. I'm, looking at the Diplomado and, and the content. I'm 29. I graduated high school in 2010, and I wished we received this type of education at school. I wished there was somebody, willing to, give us a little financial, talk, and give us open our eyes a little bit, and just, explain to us where we're standing with our system, and how things are going, and not just wait until you get to the university, or when you start working, and trying to work for your own livelihood, and you learn on the streets or by experience. Now, I wished I received this type of education before. So yeah, man, we're trying to set the foot, and establish the baseline, and be an example eventually. And I really hope that in the near future we can safely say that most, if not all, Salvadorians graduating high school from any schooling in this country has received some sort of education on Bitcoin and on this stuff. So yeah, I
Well,
hope the future looks bright. Yeah.
you guys are miles ahead of the U.S. Miles ahead.
We're still giving lectures about what gender is in colleges. Can you believe that? That's insane. I think that's so insane.
These are people that vote, and they get to go sit in a class about stuff like that when there are real things going on.
Well, not only that, think of all the generational capacity that we're wasting. Sitting in theaters, listening to lectures on gender and having arguments.
Not just that, your average college student obviously doesn't know anything about finances because they come out of college $100,000 in debt before they even have a job or a guarantee on anything. They come out of it $100,000 in debt. And so obviously colleges obviously don't want to teach them that, because they would never get anyone past their freshman year. They'd all say, "Oh, what?
I'm gonna go buy a Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, not just go buy it. I'm going to work. I'm going to go learn to be a plumber or a pipe fitter or something that, you'll step out of making $100K a year, and, you make it right off the ground. In-house training. You can go work for a union, learn the job. Instead, they go to college. So colleges obviously can't teach financial literacy because it would undermine how they're trying to rape the populace.
So Raul, do you get a lot of volunteer support coming from other countries? When I'm talking about like physical volunteers?
Not that much. I mean, there's a lot of, we get support. There's a lot of people trying to help us with however they can. What I mean by that is either financially or, with other sort of help. But that's one of the things that we really want to offer, is for people that want to help us with, with their time and their presence. They want to come here in El Salvador and help us teach and give classes. We have our arms open, and we are happy to receive them. And we are also excellent tour guides. So we're going to make sure that if you come, you will help us, but we will also make sure that you have a really good time as well.
Well, I spent 6 months in Cuba, and I learned uno cerveza por favor. So I'll come down and hold a banner and wiggle it for you, and then you can show me around. I don't speak Spanish, and
I'll walk you through the textbook.
And I know almost nothing on Bitcoin, but I'll come and hold a banner. You know what? If you need a hype man, someone like in a rap thing, hold a mic and give it a after you guys speak, I can do that. But
we'll get him there, Raul. We'll get him there.
I'll teach you how to ask for a beer here in El Salvador. No worries.
How do you ask for a beer in El Salvador?
We also say una cerveza, por favor. Or we also say birria. We refer to birria. Cerveza.
Okay, now I don't roll my R's very well, but I'll practice that. I'm ready.
I bet you would be a good time. So
I know it.
Raul, do you have a Bitcoin donation QR code or an address that we can post on the video?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. If you allow me, I can send it to you on our email. I'll send you the links to our, and I think you can also find them in our website as well.
Definitely, Raul. All right.
On our website, you go at the top right where it says donate, and you'll see the links, and you can donate to us. Or if you want to help specifically the diplomado, we also have another QR for that as well.
I don't know. I like what you guys are doing. This is fantastic. Yeah. All right. I'm going to flash the website on the screen real quick. So bear with me while I get this computer prepped.
Now, are you considered a 501c3 in El Salvador?
501c3, you're going to have to enlighten me on that one.
We call them nonprofit organization.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit organization. They're not supposed to be political, but let's face it. If you find a nonprofit organization that isn't political, let me know. All right. So right now on the screen for anyone watching, you've got me Premier Bitcoin. I can transfer this bad boy into English. Would you look at this? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Look at that. You've got it in English on your website. That's fantastic. You're ready. You're poised to come to the US.
Jared, if you take the class, you have to wear one of those skirts.
You bet I would look so good in one of those. The problem is my legs are so white, you wouldn't be able to tell where the sock ends and the leg begins. But anyway, so you've got a donate button, things like that. If you're interested in Bitcoin, go and explore this site. I know I'm going to explore it later. I'm going to have a look, see what they got going on. They've got in the news, resources, get involved mission about us, the diploma, all that stuff. And this is fantastic.
Yeah, really good work, Raul. This is a pretty amazing program. I wish we could get classes like this in our schools.
Well, I would say that like we did the other night with the Liberty group, I would say it's probably going to need to be set up like that, where it's done at community centers amongst small groups. It'd be good to do it at senior citizen centers and things like that. You know, get the seniors involved in it and give them that opportunity where, you know, if they want to get involved, where they don't have a lot of opportunity, where they're not in a group that watches a lot of YouTube or things like that, where all they watch is, you know, Fox News, CNN, whatever. But this would be an opportunity for them to even come in and sit down and learn a little bit.
So Raul, if I wanted to come down to El Salvador and participate in the classes, how long would it take me?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, obviously we will have to, if you want to help us with our, you know, our one-time classes, that's easy to get set up. We are always looking for, you know, people to help us. I don't know, maybe because there's the detail of the language, right? Because you will have to help us in Spanish. But there are lots of ways that we can find a way that you can help us. And if you want to also do a little visit to the San Micro School, we can also get something like that set up. Our classes are on Saturday, so if you come for a few days, just make sure to be on a Saturday as well, so you can go and do a quick visit to the school and learn about that.
So it's 10 Saturdays and you get a diploma. Okay.
Okay, Dave. Brown skirt, white shirt, got a little thing on it.
Well, you get a diploma too, so
yeah,
it'll look good on you.
I like it. But no, this is fantastic. All right, now got 2 more comments before we cut you out of here. Friends of Adam says again, good points. If Bitcoin crashes, I'll probably buy in. And you know what? A lot of people do. They watch the markets, and whenever Bitcoin drops, they buy in. And that's usually when Bitcoin gets a resurgence, because more people buying in causes the value to go up. And then when people sell, it causes it to go down. And then another one, will there be an English version? We're hoping so, but do you have any plans of that yet, Raul, to bust out an English version?
Yes, of course, eventually we will. Obviously right now, because we want to make sure that we deliver the best quality, you know, knowledge and to our students, that all of the improvements that we're doing right now on the diploma are focused on Spanish. But yes, eventually we would like to offer something in English and you know, have it available maybe online or something like that. Or if you're interested in getting like a physical copy, we are also making those considerations. So yeah, maybe not right now, but in the next few months, most likely we'll get something ready.
That'd be awesome to see a Me Premier You, you know, where it's a university online where people go in, they sign up, and they go through the courses online, and you offer it in all the languages, you know. That'd be fantastic. I know I'm getting the cart out in front of the horse on you, and I apologize because I've just signed you up for a whole bunch of good stuff, but that would be awesome.
No, and you're right. That's exactly the path we want. We're trying to look forward to, you know, that's part of our vision, become a reference for education in Bitcoin, and, you know, eventually have some sort of academy, you know, and not only talk about Bitcoin, talk about Lightning, nodes, you know, all this other stuff, and you know, open our doors to you know, everyone from any parts of the world, and you know, becoming bilingual and then trilingual and so on. It's part of the idea. So yeah,
that'd be fantastic. A whole bunch of Bitcoin professors. You guys have to wear tweed jackets though, and bow ties. I'm just throwing it out there. Or you can dress like Indiana Jones. You have your choice.
I prefer Indiana Jones in any case.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know, the tweed jacket with the leather elbows, man. Well, anything else for him, Dave?
I don't think so. That's a pretty cool show we just had.
Yeah, Raul, this is outstanding stuff you're doing. You're a visionary. You and all the guys you're working with, pass along our gratitude for you guys stepping up and taking care of this. I hope it just continues to grow.
No, no, man, it means a lot, and thank you guys for giving us the chance and giving me the time to talk a little bit about our project to all of your listeners. It's an honor and a pleasure, and this is something is the beginning of something really big, and I hope we see you guys soon. I hope we'll keep in touch, and eventually you come to El Salvador and meet. I'll be happy to meet you in person and give you a tour.
Oh, that would be great. And I'll be your hype man. I'll tell you what, I'll sit in the back, throw out a yeah every once in a while.
Oh, you'll learn it sooner or later, Jared.
Well, it's the Spanish part is why I have to be the hype man.
Oh,
Because I mean, I could teach him to order a beer. I didn't learn how to ask where the bathroom was until after I left Cuba. It's pitiful.
well, stand by after the show here,
Yeah.
Raul. I want to ask you one more thing offline, and that'll conclude for our Monday special.
Yeah, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Who we got going on this week?
Tomorrow is Tooele Adventures.
Yeah,
with
Tooele Adventures
Miss
tomorrow.
Garcia.
Yeah, Miss Garcia. And so join us then. She's going to be talking about some things that go on in Tooele if you want to get out and about. And it's getting to be that time of year where getting out in nature's the thing to do. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Perfect. Thank you guys again for the opportunity and the space. And you had yourselves a wonderful evening.